Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Hello and welcome to Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Super News. I'm Ollie Davis. Press the thumbs up and leave a comment down below because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere after this video goes live. And we've got a show more packed than WWE's list of random heel changes today. Looking at plans for The Miz to turn babyface, reports of a brand new wrestling promotion to rival WWE, and the shocking news of at least 2 wrestlers planning to quit WWE to join it. But first, meanwhile, in Mexico, this happened. Wrestling on a Lucha Memes and Lucha Libre Boom joint show, Angel O'Demino, who, going by this video, has the gimmick of Juan Cena's cousin who never quite made it, took on Cuervo, who's the guy on the outside. At one point, Demonio took an actual, non-gimmicked 15 to 20 pound brick and threw it from the ring to the outside at the back of Cuervo's head, legitimately knocking him out. A referee and ringside physician immediately then took him to the back. In an interview with WrestleZone, wrestler Sin Body, who was backstage at the event, said Cuervo's eyes rolled back in his head and he was vomiting, showing signs of a concussion, while a doctor was trying to hold the wound on his head closed. When Demonio got backstage, he blamed Cuervo for the incident, saying it was his fault for hitting him too hard with chair shots earlier in the match. Cuervo was quickly then taken to hospital, where the MRI showed a large 1 to 2 inch thick crescent-shaped mark of the blood pooling up on his skull. So he underwent surgery to repair the clot. Lucha Blog has given the most recent update on his condition. Cuervo suffered an epidural hematoma and a skull fracture. He's in intensive care but out of danger, and it is believed he will not need a second operation. He'll be there for 7 to 10 days before being transferred to a rehabilitation facility. Demonio has since been indefinitely suspended by the Boxing and Wrestling Commission of Mexico. But there might be an even worse punishment in store for him. The Wrestling Machine Kurt Angle. With the clip of the incident going viral, many fans and wrestlers have roundly condemned Demonio's actions online, with Kurt tweeting, "Give me 10 seconds with that stupid MFer that threw the brick, shouldn't be anywhere near the business." Whereas Bully Ray recalculated, "I think you could do it in 5. I don't think either man meant that to sound so kinky." Cuervo's life sadly might be changed forever due to the incident, so a group of wrestlers and promoters are putting on a benefit show to help with his rehab, which kinda makes all our collected frustrations with WWE's poor Survivor Series booking this week seem rather insignificant by comparison. But we'll push on regardless. Awkward gear change segue. Despite coming off one of their 5 biggest shows of the year, neither Raw or SmackDown impressed in their ratings this week, with Raw drawing just 2.49 million viewers and SmackDown averaging 2.15 million. While Raw was actually up 2% from the previous week and faced strong competition against the Kansas City Chiefs Los Angeles Rams NFL game, this is yet another sub 2.5 million figure. Just 2 years ago, anything below 3 million was considered very disappointing. Now, the last few months have seen 2.5 million be the average. And SmackDown's figure was not only down 8% from last week, which had all the intrigue of the Becky Lynch-Nia Jax incident from the night before, it's also down almost 20% from the same time last year, which is a very worrying trend. But that's arguably what you get when you clearly outline that SmackDown doesn't mean anything by beating them 6-0 at Survivor Series and ignoring their one pre-show victory. And your ratings weren't any better. 40% of you agreed with me that this week's Raw was one of the most frustrating episodes in recent memory, giving it the lowest score of bore. And 54% just thought SmackDown was smack bang in the middle. Perhaps one way to turn WWE's dwindling ratings around is to take one of their best baby faces and turn them heel, and one of their most naturally unlikable heels and turn them babyface. Yeah, that makes total sense. Miz becoming a good guy on SmackDown has been a reported backstage plan for about a month now. With his injury in the World Cup to determine the best Shane McMahon in the world, the apparent start of his slow babyface turn. This was furthered the following week when Miz had to get along with his previous archenemy, and back then a babyface, Daniel Bryan, as co-captains of Team SmackDown for Survivor Series, and pretty much confirmed on this week's episode, where he cut a babyface promo in his current hometown of LA, and then wrestled in a dark match as a total good guy. In what would have been unthinkable just a few months ago, reports say that once SmackDown went off air, The Miz, as a total babyface, took on newly turned heel Daniel Bryan for the WWE title in the live show's non-televised main event. Miz won the match via DQ because of a Bryan low blow, and then cut an impassioned babyface promo thanking the crowd for their support. Miz's slow face turn could run as a counterweight to Shane McMahon's apparently planned heel turn over the next few weeks. Miz previously had a babyface midcard run back in 2012, where Ric Flair became his mentor and even gave him his figure 4 leglock finisher. That time didn't really work out for Miz, but he's improved significantly since those days and has often been cheered during his heel promos this year. Which brings us on to... This week, I tweeted, The Miz. Miz is awesome. Really? Yeah! Shrugging lady emoji, wrestling guys emoji, sunglasses on a sun emoji. Please retweet much love OD kiss. Still waiting on that reply. Although he is a babyface now. So he might hop on the old Twitter to reply to his fans. 'Cause he's awesome. Yeah. Or maybe the answer to turn the wrestling business around isn't to improve WWE's product, it's to create a whole new rival wrestling promotion. Several months ago, on the 1st of September, Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks put on All In, a wrestling event attended by over 10,000 people, making it the largest non-WWE show on US soil in the 2 decades since WCW folded. Reviews of the show were overwhelmingly positive, with Bully Ray even comparing the atmosphere to ECW's celebrated One Night Stand pay-per-view from 2005. But would this landmark show be the next stage in a more adult-orientated wrestling product, or the indie wrestling boom bubble from the last 5 years finally popping? Going by a few new developments, hopefully it's the former. SE Scoops reported last month that the B&V Elite team behind All In of Cody and the Bucks were working with Chris Jericho, Jim Ross, and wrestling agent Barry Bloom to start a new wrestling promotion, financed by the owner of the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars, Tony Khan, with talks being underway with Access, who currently air New Japan, to secure a TV deal. The site claimed the project was aiming to go live in late 2019 or early 2020. Both Chris Jericho and Jim Ross have heavily denied these claims since, which is exactly what they would do, with JR calling the rumours absurd and Jericho presumably dressing up as Pentagon and escaping through the crowd when asked. But in the weeks that followed, all the aforementioned talent were aboard Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea Cruise, and Cody, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page, Marty Scurll and Kenny Omega all announced they were leaving New Japan's Bullet Club faction. Cody and Page are reportedly letting their ROH contracts expire, while Omega's runs out on the 31st of January. And in the latest development, a company called All Elite Wrestling LLC has now filed several trademarks in the past week, including AEW Double or Nothing, AEW All Out, AEW Tuesday Night Dynamite, All Out, Double or Nothing, and All Elite Wrestling. Double or Nothing is the rumoured name for the follow-up show to All In, which Cody teased at the end of their September 1st show, and All Elite Wrestling, or AEW, appears to be the name of the reported new wrestling promotion, with Tuesday Night Dynamite sounding like a possible weekly television name, implying the company is pursuing a TV deal. Most interestingly, however, giving even more credibility to SE Scoops' original report, is that the registered address of All Elite Wrestling LLC is 1 TIAA Bankfield Drive, Jacksonville, Florida, the address of the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, which is owned by the project's rumored financiers, the Khan family, whose patriarch Shahid Khan is amongst the richest people in the world, with an estimated net worth of $7.4 billion, more than enough to compete with WWE. While Pro Wrestling Sheet have reported JR and Jericho's involvement has been overstated, with Cody and the Bucks being the wrestling masterminds behind the project, and JR and Jericho merely being talent if things get off the ground, WrestleTalk can exclusively reveal they're not the only wrestling stars AEW are currently talking to. According to our sources, at least 2 WWE main roster stars have been informally approached about signing with the new group once their contracts expire. We understand that both have provisionally accepted the proposed deal and will depart WWE in April at the latest. Let the speculation over who that is commence! While this is a very exciting proposition for the wrestling business, all of this does apparently depend on the promotion getting a financially worthwhile television or streaming deal, and should only be considered 50-50 at this stage. Oh, sorry, what was that? You've been looking at my Kingslayer t-shirt this entire time, thinking, where can I get such an amazing piece of merch and great pectoral definition? Well, I'm very proud to announce we finally have merch! Again! After it kind of didn't work out back in January. Visit WrestleTalkShop.com to get your merch now by clicking the eye above my head or the link in the video description below. Whereas a Black Friday treat, you can use the code WrestleTalk18 to get £5 off your total order. That expires next Friday the 30th, so act fast. Celebrate the Seth Rollins entrance music that never was with an Kingslayer t-shirt. In an age of fake news, declare yourself for the truth with an El Fakador Trust tee. Threaten AJ Styles' wife wherever you go with this Ooh Wendy design. Or just keep it simple with a classic Support WrestleTalk t-shirt. What are the most insane things happening in WWE right now? Answer: loads. Click the WrestleTalk.com link to find out. And Braun Strowman might miss TLC. Click the video in the top left to learn more. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.